So this interview is with Grace, who it was just so fun to meet and chat to, and I love having the opportunity to speak to loads of different actors. And she is the host of her podcast, The Actors Waiting Room, where she interviews so many people like I do, and it's just so interesting to hear from someone else who has such a similar creative outlet to me and my interview series and my videos about the industry as well. But she has been to drama school. She moved from a village to moving to London to do drama school, and she's been in the industry for quite a few years, has had many different experiences, and through researching her and listening to her podcast, it was just so insightful about the industry. And I feel like it's such a blessing to have resources like her podcast to be able to learn from other actors in the industry and their experiences. So I would really recommend checking out her podcast. It's just really great, and I hope you enjoy watching this chat and hearing about her journey and her thoughts through navigating this very interesting industry that we find ourselves in. Hello. So, what I first wanted to ask you about was that I think it's interesting that you're not from London originally, because
Hmm.
I'm a non-London girl as well. And I think it's
Amazing.
interesting. Did you grow up in a village?
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up. No one's ever heard of it. It's a county called Rutland, and yeah, it's very like village life. Yeah.
So I was wondering how you find that because often, like, even in some bigger cities that aren't London, there's so much less going on. So I think it's such a big thing to be able to make a career for yourself in an area where was there less opportunities, or was it like,
Yeah. I mean, I had to come to London, I think, to actually find some opportunities, I think. Like not everybody, well, no one from around there had really any idea how to sort of pursue an acting career or things like that. It kind of wasn't really heard of. Like, of course, there was school plays and maybe the odd drama club or dance club or whatever you wanted to call it. But to take it more professionally, it was quite hard to find some answers there. Yeah.
how did you find the move to London then? Because I feel like there's a different culture and a different vibe there.
Yeah, massively. Absolutely. Like, I was so nervous to come. I was obviously so excited to finally, obviously, like get into a drama school and stuff like that. But it was, yeah, it was like so daunting and like, I'm used to my like little town next to it. If I wanted to go out for a night out with my friends, it would be like, a couple of, well, it'd be mainly pubs. And then there was one nightclub, like one. And so, like, during Freshers Week, where there was like a host of all these things and clubs that you could go to, and clubs that were like 3 times as big as a little club that I used to go to, I used to be like, what on earth is this? Like, it was such a massive change, but like, through time, you learn to love it and you find your feet. But I was so nervous coming to London and navigating adult life and things like that. So I found it very difficult. But now, obviously, I've been here for about 7 years. So, and I never want to go. So I love it now.
So would you recommend it then to other people? Do you think also people say do you need to be in London to do acting? What do you think of that?
I don't think you need to be in London to be an actor. No, I think um, I stayed because obviously I came because I wanted to go to a certain drama school and I auditioned for like the drama school kind of sort of circuit. I didn't audition to many, but they were all based in London. And so I was given the advice at drama school that you should stay in London after you graduate for a better chance and stuff. But I mean, obviously, I have my own podcast where I interview people from literally all walks of life and different areas, and they make great theatre and they make great films all over the UK. So no, you do not need to be in London. Do I think it you have more opportunities here? Yes. I think undeniably, unfortunately, this is kind of where big TV and film is made. But do you have to be here to gain those opportunities? No, it just might be a little bit harder. That's all.
I've seen from your podcast that you sort of brand it as you've worked as an actor and you're waiting for your big break. So I was just wondering how you feel about that because I feel like there's so much chat about auditioning generically, but I feel like there's lots of different levels of different types of jobs. There's the big break jobs and there's the working, but it's not really what you
Yeah.
necessarily want to do.
Yeah, so if I can, the bit about my podcast is it's looking at my journey as an actor and sort of taking a little bit of the mick with it, maybe.
Yeah.
Saying that I want my big break and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And like, sure, happy to have the have the big break, but obviously it's not. It's kind of a joke. But I think it's it's different. Like it's very different. Like, yes, I've got different experiences in different areas, but yeah, no, I haven't had these massive opportunities for Hollywood films and things like that. And yeah, I'm still aiming for that. It's still what I want to do. Um, and so if I can document it along the way and give other people knowledge who are just starting out or who need that extra bit of inspiration or push or just to know that they're not in it on their own, great.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think your podcast is very good, and you don't seem like someone who's just like shallowly chasing the big break. I didn't mean to um,
It's fine, it's fine. But yeah, like I mean, when it first started, we were really I started it with my friend Tom,
yeah.
and we really were like, oh God, is it a bit too tongue in cheek to be like, oh, we've had all these failures, but we've had some successes, but how do we show that? But yeah, it's kind of evolved into just chatting with a great load of creatives. I mean, kind of like what you're doing, like you get to meet some really interesting people and like people like the people that you don't hear about are actually doing things that are really interesting. And like I've had lots of opportunities to go watch some people's work and I'm like, why has this not been picked up? This is amazing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so there's so much talent out there and to be able to, yeah, speak to lots of different people is amazing.
How have you found having a podcast then, like as a extra creative outlet?
It's hard. But very rewarding. It keeps my inspiration going, I think, for the industry because it's very quiet at the moment. Like it's very it when I graduated from drama school, it was quite busy. There was lots of things going on and COVID obviously happened and then strikes happened and then now funding is kind of um not as reliable at the moment, and we're seeing that, and I think all creatives are seeing that at the moment. So to have a different creative outlook, like a podcast, or maybe it's writing or something else that people want to do, I think maybe now's the time to start doing it because it is a bit of a waiting game. I mean, my whole podcast is called The Actors Waiting Room. Like we are waiting literally for the next big thing. And so, yeah, but it's been a massive journey about how to learn how to navigate a podcast, how to put stuff out on social media and stuff like that. And I thought it was going to be really easy when I first started. I got a couple of mics and was like, oh, we'll just record and just chat for about an hour and then I'll upload it. And actually, you're like, wait, no, I've got to apply to Apple Podcast. I've got to apply to Spotify. I've got to put things out there all the time and not make it look bad. It's got to look good. And so, yeah, it's been a massive journey of learning. But I think it's definitely helped my networking and how I speak to people. 100%. Definitely, yeah.
Well, I feel like you're doing well with both, but I
Oh.
wanted to ask you as well about the brunette girl experience because I feel like how much do you feel like your casting type and your appearance affects the opportunities you get? What kind of audition rooms have you found yourself in?
Yes. Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, maybe I'll put it this way. I was told in my third year at drama school that I was in a very overpopulated casting bracket, that the white brunette girl next door type, even though I'm not a girl next door type, but I think the way that I look sometimes maybe casted as that. Um, and so it was a little bit difficult to navigate to start with. And I had a real trouble sort of getting agents as well because agencies were like, well, I already have like five of you type thing. And how you market yourself as something other than this girl next door is really hard. But I suppose maybe my advice on that is to just keep filming stuff that's more authentically you. So if you've got a show reel scene or, monologue reel or whatever, do things that you really connect with, because the only thing kind of that we have, I think, as actors is to show your personality and your side of things. And yes, okay, we might look one certain way, but as soon as you open your mouth, people might be like, oh, that doesn't quite go with what I thought that you were going to be. I suppose that maybe I am polite, I don't know, but people might, to start with, people thought, oh, she's very smiley, she's very chatty, she's quite sweet and polite and things, and maybe a little bit naive and things like that. And then actually, I swear too much. I'm very sarcastic. I'm really not that. And so then when you start chatting to people, they go, "Oh, a little bit different to what I thought that you would be." And so use that. Use your authenticity in that case to try and be something else, or show them that you could be something else rather than just this box type casting that we all hate.
So where do you think you yourself fitting if you're not girl next door? How do you find
So,
your casting type?
how do I find my casting type? So, I have sort of given up, I think, a little bit on I have a specific casting type,
Yeah.
and I go for roles, or I suppose my agent puts me up for roles that they think that I am like naturally. So if there is, I don't know, you've seen Sex Education?
No, I should have done.
Okay, no, that's fine. Sex Education, there's a character called Maeve who plays the main girl in it. Uh, take away like all the dark makeup and stuff that she wears on the outside, like in her interviews. She's very similar, I'd say, like type sense of humor, I suppose, as me and things like that. And so I've gone more towards that area. I've also pushed myself towards characters that are a bit more like Florence Pugh or Anya Taylor-Joy, and tried to, obviously not in looks wise, I don't look like them, but the type of characters that they get to play, I resonate more with those types of characters. And so therefore I go, right, well, that's the thing that I'm going to aim for. And so then I get a show reel or a monologue that matches that. And then I show them that side of me that hopefully, yeah, points towards that casting. But you can't always control what castings come through. And sometimes you get castings that are literally girl next door. And I go, okay, fine, I'll audition for the girl next door. That's absolutely fine. But I think don't limit yourself to just one thing, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's good though that at least you're getting auditions through. And you've had auditions for like TV as well and all these kind of like bigger projects, which I feel like
Mm.
shows that you're doing something right,
Mm.
do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. I think yeah, it's always great. I think when you receive auditions, it's always great. It's always great because actually to get the audition in the first place is a really big feat, actually, and I don't think a lot of people know that. They're quite selective here, I think, in the UK maybe, and there's less open calls and things like that. So when you are selected to go in for TV jobs and stuff, or you're asked to self-tape for certain things, yeah, they do generally want to see you, and that's great. But yeah, you just have to just show them what you've got, and then try and leave it at the door type thing.
Thank you. And I want to ask you about something, but like feel free to not talk about it if you don't want
Mm.
to, but about dyslexia and acting, because I think I've heard you talk about it and I think it's really important because I think lots of people can be pressured quite a lot and can feel like they have to push themselves to do stuff and find it difficult to communicate any access needs they might have.
Mm.
So how have
Yeah.
you found that?
As in like how I communicate that,
Yeah,
or
because
just
I
or
feel like
just sort of the industry in general with some with neurodivergency.
just all of it generally, because I think sometimes as well, some of these situations can be unpredictable or not cater to
Mm.
everything, or you get like cold reading.
Yeah, it's terrible. Well, it's not terrible. It's just very frightening for someone who
Yeah.
is dyslexic, I think, or with any sort of neurodivergency. Like, you have to be, from someone who is dyslexic, you have to be overly prepared. I have to be more prepared than the average neurotypical brain, I suppose. And that kind of puts a lot of pressure on because sometimes you don't get a lot of time to learn your lines. And um, to begin with, I would hide the fact that I'm dyslexic because I'd be like, maybe that's going to hinder me and they're not going to take me as seriously or whatever. And so then I would sort of go into auditions people pleasing and being like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. And I couldn't deliver and I can't. So you have to you don't have to do anything. I'm just going to preface that, but like I would advise maybe just being open and honest and just saying, if you're given a cold read, I say it now. I go, I am dyslexic. Would you mind if I take 5 minutes outside just to have a look at it over before I come back in and deliver it to you? Because unfortunately, I won't be able to sight read for you. I won't be able to do my best work for you. And always, always, always they go, oh my God, thank you so much for telling us. Of course, go take 5 minutes. Even 5 minutes for a neurodivergent person is still not very long, and it still will throw you off 100%. But possibly you can navigate that with your agent as well. Like sometimes if my agent's gone, oh, they just want you to go to this audition and you've not been given any sides, and you go, right, okay, is there any way that you could get hold of something? Because can you explain to them that I am dyslexic and it won't be it won't be very good, basically. Sometimes they say yes and they send them over, and sometimes they just go, no, it's not ready. And you go, okay, well, that's fair enough, but we're just going to have to navigate that. But yeah, I mean, I do a whole episode about it on the podcast with a specialist as well, and she has her own book called The Dyslexic Actor, and that has come out now. So if anyone is dyslexic and really needs to look that up, I advise go with her. She's amazing.
I'll have to link that below then. And I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah. I'll send it over to you. I'll send it over.
I want to ask you about, you talk about other jobs, day jobs. So I was wondering, you've talked about it on your podcast, but how do you balance that? How do you earn enough and be available for auditions?
Oh, me is a big challenge. I think, gosh, it's still something that I have to navigate. Like, it's still something, every job is different. Like, some jobs you can be very open. Like, I work in a theatre on a 0 hour contract. I get by on 0 hour contract work. But I understand that sometimes 0 hour contract work is a little bit daunting to somebody because, ideally we're going to be out of work the majority of the time, that we're not on set or on the like in rehearsal rooms all the time. So this day job has to be able to support your life. And if you're in somewhere like London, which is very expensive, you kind of want to have that stability and navigate those hours. And that's really hard. And I think the best times, or the times that it's worked, is being on 0 hours, is being open and honest with your boss. And if they're not open and honest, sorry, if they're not willing to sort of maybe sort of take those things into account, if you have a last minute audition, sometimes you just have to rethink that job and you have to go, right, it's not as flexible as I thought it was going to be. Maybe I can try and find something else. But um, that is the real struggle with it. Like you can do assistant teaching jobs, you can do obviously retail, you can do obviously theatre front of house jobs. If you can, they're quite hard to get now. Working from home jobs are amazing. I actually have one of those as well, part time. I've also always had two jobs, which I know sounds a bit strange, but they've both been part time. And it just means that if I have to drop something from one, I can pick it up from the other, or vice versa. And it also means that I always felt that I was letting my bosses down differently, because if I'm only there part time, if I'm dropping like one day, that's not that detrimental because I'm part time and they kind of know that. When you're in a place full time, I've always found that they rely on you more. And so, therefore, you dropping time and taking time off or taking the entire week off is kind of seen as a bit disastrous to their business. And um, yeah, but I mean, I've called in sick when I probably shouldn't have, like all those things, like you have to just really put your acting first in some instances. You know.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so hard. I think it is literally one of the biggest challenges is navigating your day job and making sure that you are getting sufficient money from there and also applying for jobs and balancing all. It's what's so hard about being a creative, I think.
And do you have any advice? Anything that you wish you'd known?
Oh,
Probably lots.
yeah, so much. Um, do you know what, actually? And I think I've only learned this in sort of the past year, is that it's okay to have a break. It's okay to sort of sit and maybe not be productive for a couple of weeks and look after yourself, because actually they're the moments when I get my biggest inspiration, either for the podcast or for writing, or I think, oh, maybe I could like email that other person in a different way, or maybe I could actually go to this networking event, or like all these things happen usually when I'm like washing the dishes or something like that. So if you give your brain like little breaks every now and again, I think that you will do so much better. And the beautiful thing about the acting industry is that you can continue for as long as you want to. Like you really can. Like I've spoken to lots of creatives where they're like, I dropped it to have children and get married and focus on getting a house, and then I came back to it when I was 40, and I'm still able to navigate it and I'm still able to do it. Sure, there'll be some changes or whatever, but it's not so hard to find the answers again because you've done it once already. So I think, yeah, be a bit more present in your everyday life, enjoy that more. Don't get so bogged down with your end result goal of being this actor that you've desperately wanted to be from such a young age. Um, and that's how you create life experience, and that will make you a better actor.
I think that's such good advice, and it's hard to put into practice, but like there are actors who are like 80, 90, who are working. It's a job
Mm.
that you can continue for your whole life.
Yeah, yeah, massively, definitely.
And also, what that reminded me of is I know you email people and you're quite proactive and you've found auditions that way. So has that worked well for you, do you think, reaching out to people?
Yeah, massively. Like, I just don't think you can sit and wait by the phone or wait by your emails for your agent to send you an audition. The more things you apply for, the better the chances is that you're going to get an audition. And yeah, I just think you do. Just always email somebody that you actually like their work of. That is
Yeah.
a big thing. Like people always say, like, make sure you say something really personal about their work. Sure, but do you actually like their work? Because people always go, I'm going to send loads of stuff out all the time to like everyone and anyone. Okay, I understand the logic behind that because you think if I throw my net out so far, I'm going to catch so many more fish. But actually, if you if you send it to people that genuinely like things that you like, and your like email will come across so much better. And also I can guarantee you there's so many people's work that you like. It's not just one person that you like. You like lots of different things. It's the whole reason why you are an actor, you are a creative. Like there are loads of things that I like and they're not all the same. Like I love Inglorious Bastards, but I love like the film, or I love Normal People. They're very different. Like one's a film, one's TV, but they're also very different stories. I would email both people like and be like, this is specifically what I like about this, and this is what I specifically like about this work, rather than just going, I'm gonna email everybody because nobody likes everything. It's not how taste works, is it? It's not how people define their opinions. So yeah, 100% do it that way.
And with normal people, like if you were to reach out to someone, for example, who would you reach out to? The casting director? Would it
Yeah.
be or the
Depends. Like, with normal people, obviously, yeah, that's a great TV show, isn't it? I probably would reach out to the director, and just say how much I enjoyed it. Um, with casting, sure, email those people, but it's slightly different terminology that I think you can use with casting directors rather than directors. With directors, I'll probably talk more about the story, how it made me feel, how I loved the direction of said actor. I loved the way that this shot was set up, that it looked like this and it reminded me of this. With a casting director, I'd probably go, I was really impressed with by your, how you've matched up these people or your casting type for this. I was really intrigued to see a person like this playing this type of role because that's the person that they've specifically chosen. So try and hinder in on like their specific job role rather than, I mean, you still can say to a casting director, I love the story, I love this as well. But I think when you hone in and complement their specific work to the project, that's kind of where you hit a good sweet spot, I think.
Okay, thank you so much. And finally, do you have anything you want to say or promote?
My God. I don't think so. I mean, we spoke about my podcast a lot. It would be great if people go and listen. But also there are other great podcasts out there for acting and just I think for podcasting and like TikTok format and YouTube and stuff like that, there's actually so much good advice out there, put out there by other creatives that's not, your mainstream famous actors. Go and have a look at the other creatives that are on their journeys on their way up, because they will have some very good advice for you as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, you're fine. Thank you for having me.
So thank you so much to everyone for watching. I hope that everyone enjoyed watching this conversation and took as much away from it as I did, because I think it's so valuable to talk to other actors and hear from other actors. And I think Grace speaks about the industry so honestly and so eloquently. So also make sure that you check out her podcast. It will be linked below. And thanks to Grace again. And if any of these topics have brought up any thoughts, then please leave them for us in the comments, and I would love to look through them. And hopefully more interviews will be coming soon, so stay tuned.